Hi everyone, we are back with a new video. I hope you're all having an amazing week. Today I shall be showing you how to create a simple song cover concept using Photoshop. I was scrolling through Canva and as soon as my eyes landed on this particular one, I knew there'd be a thing or two that you guys could learn from it. Also, if you're new here, my name is Danny James, and make sure to leave a like if you do end up enjoying the content, and also subscribe as we are almost getting to 1,000 subscribers. Without further ado, let's jump right into it. If you go to your web browser, right under canva.com, if you do search album covers, there's a wide range of items that you can see, but most of these things would require pre-planning or extra tools in order to accomplish the looks. So I went for this basic look right here. I feel like it's not very complex, while at the same time there's a bit of things that you could learn from this one. So let's go into Photoshop and start recreating. So just create a new layer, make sure it's a 1080 by 1080 layer, whichever resolution. I think it can be okay, and then just create. Now that you have our layer set up, we can begin making these. In case you need to benchmark what's in here, you can just screenshot from your screen. You can hit the print screen button and then come back to Photoshop and then hit Ctrl V to paste it, and then you can enlarge that slide like that. We'll have it here for reference and just hide that layer. So we're going to start by making this background layer, something in orange, and then we shall create the two shapes that are inside here. Okay, so I have our orange color right here for the background, and then using the paint bucket tool, it's right here. Just as soon as you've clicked on a color, you can paint on it. Also, we need to create a new layer right here. So on this new layer, we're going to paint. Then afterwards, you're going to create the rectangle. So just jump right here, right click on it, and then you can choose the rectangle tool. We don't really need a fill, so we need to put it off, and then you can have a stroke at about 2. Remember, you can always change these values. So let's just draw the rectangle. And then as soon as you draw it, you can come back to your selection tool. We can adjust these parameters, and if you cannot see them, make sure properties is enabled. This seems like a good place, so I think about 6 will be okay. Also, if you need to align it properly, make sure to click on that layer and then hit Ctrl A, and then you can click right here and right here, and it seems that I had drawn it perfectly. So hit Ctrl D to remove those lines. Secondly, we need to create the small shapes. We have a rectangle with a fill here and also another one, and then it will automatically create the space for this one. So again, come back to your rectangle tool, and then we shall create it right here. And then come back to my selection tool. Then for this one won't need a stroke, but instead will require a fill of black. Okay, and then you'll need another small rectangle right here. So just pick it, zoom, and then let's make sure to create a new layer so that it doesn't overwrite on that one, and then we just place it. Come back to your selection tool. It has a stroke, so let's make sure this stroke width it's a bit bigger. So let's try the value 6. Okay, and then you can come back to it. We need to align it perfectly. On that rectangle, you need to hit Ctrl T so that you can resize it, and then you can hold Shift while dragging this downwards, again on this side and also on the edges. Okay, that seems perfect, and automatically you have space right here. So I think we've covered the first step for this, and now it's a matter of bringing in text and an image to begin. Right now, let's bring an image that you can use. So I wanted to search the artist who is almost similar to this, and I would go with black. You can type black face shot. Go to images, and then again you can see there are so many low quality images here because mostly these are blog sites, and if you need to get a better version, make sure to come to tools, size, and click large. In that way it will give us high quality images to work with. So I like this one, so I'll right click on it, then save image as. I already downloaded it, so let's just drag it into the image, into our shot right there. Okay, we shall need to resize it, so I'm holding Alt if you're using a later version of Photoshop to bring it here, and I think about there. So also remember to rename your layers so that you can have organization. So we need to align this image so that it stays on within that area. And how you do it, click on that layer and then let's reduce the opacity like that. And then right click on it, make sure to rasterize it so that you can cut it however you want. And then you can hit Ctrl T and then place it the best areas that you find. So I can also resize it down like that. So let's remove the excess using our rectangular marquee tool. We're going to follow here through the edges of the stroked rectangle, bring it here, and then hit Ctrl Shift I to invert that selection, and then click on delete, and then you can come back. You can bring the opacity back, and that looks okay. If you need it to be inside these black lines perfectly, I think the best thing to do is to drag the image layer beneath the rectangle layer. You can see what just happened. Let me undo that. You can see what this looks like, and then once you drag it beneath this image layer, that's good. Okay, now let's begin bringing in the text for this image so that you can go on with this. Right here, top artist. Let's bring this layer up, and then we're going to need to change the properties because it's the same color as the background. So make sure it's black. Then let's change the font. Usually I'd like us to go with around 2 to 3 fonts so that you don't have overlapping or excess mixtures. And then let's just increase the size. Okay, the size as it is, that's good. And then let's hit Ctrl T, hold Alt, and then make it smaller so that it follows that. That's the first thing. And then let's create other text. So we can just hold Alt, drag down to replicate. Again, make another duplicate, sorry. And then on these duplicates, let's put the name of the artist. With the name of the artist, I think what you can do, we need to bring it right here, but we need to change the color to that orange. You can increase this letter spacing. 420 looks like a good choice, and then you can also increase the size of the text. So that's good. And then on this other one, let's put the words right here. We need some words on this other end. As we saw in this picture, we need this word. So let's just copy the same word. Okay, that's good. So we need to make this word a bit wider. First of all, let's just adjust it, Ctrl T, and then rotate it 90 degrees, place it here, and then let's make it big. As it stands, I don't like the font for it. I'd like to make some adjustments. So first, Acumen Variable Concept is a good font. You can drop down the weight just a bit, but I loved how it looked a bit thick, so that's good. So we can leave it like that. But to add a little bit of sauce into this, let's take these items a bit to the right. So let's lock the background layer first. Click on that background layer, and then there is this little padlock. Then let's highlight on everything that we've created so far except the word orbits. Ctrl T, and then drag them a bit on the right hand side. Now let's drag the orbits here. I'd also like to compress the words. To compress the words, you need this value here, the one which has a percentage and a vertical line beside it. Okay, you can see, so we are going to take it towards 80 like that. I would also add something else. Let's make a duplicate of that word using Ctrl J. I usually get questions on how to make a stroke, especially on Photoshop. So there's a really easy way to do this. Just double click on the layer right on this side, and then it will bring this layer style menu. Let's add a stroke. Let's tick the stroke, and then you can have the a white color instead. And then let's increase the size of the stroke. Again, I can see I selected the wrong word for it. I wanted to do the stroke on the duplicate, so double click here and then enable stroke, and then change the color to white. Then let's increase the size of the stroke like that. You can see we have this stroke. Now we need to remove the black fill, and now we can do that. We can change the color of the fill to the color of the background. And then if you go back to our strokes, just double click on a stroke effect, you can see it comes right back. Let's reduce the size like that. And then you can also choose the position of the stroke, inside or outside, but this is heavily influenced whenever you have the fill inside. So let's click on OK, and that way we have something good going on. Now let's add some more text. If we go to our reference layer, we need to add some produced tag and some sort of volume, something like that. So Back here again, let's create a duplicate for these words. 2 duplicates. Let's put these here for the produced and right here for the volume. So let's give it a name of a song. So let's name it Seasons, like that. And then on this other text layer, we need to change the name, produced. Also, you can see I've changed to small letters. I'm just putting some random words. Okay, so let's put here. Also, according to rules of thirds, you're trying to make something that attractive to the eye. So also we're going to place it along this line of the frame and not somewhere central or right here. Somewhere right there, you can see, and then it's slightly above this letter S. Then let's change the font. Okay, and then for the font, we're going to add some more weight into it. I want to compress these words, so let me put my menu right here so that you can see what you're doing. Let's make the text a bit bigger. You can also increase the space between texts using this. I'm going to reduce the spacing. Again, I don't really like the font, so let's go for a different font. Okay, that's good one. Bookman old style. So I'll put it right here, and then I'll maybe make it smaller. Okay, then when it comes to this other text, we need to make it a bit small and almost unrecognizable. We're going to work with the same font. Let's not have the bold version of it. Okay, let's have the regular version. We need to also make it small. Okay, like that. Let's try to align it with something, almost with these other words. Alright, once we are done preparing the text and everything and laying out the images, it's time to add some extra details which will complete this look and make it look even better. So if you go back to our reference file on Canva, you can see there's a little lightning icon, and there are some white sprinkles on the background layer, and also the photo is in black and white, which for some reason it makes it even look better. So let's begin by adjusting the image. Right on our image, create an adjustment, black and white, then make sure to click here so that it only clips on this image. Then you can try adjusting this however you want. I kind of like this look, and then I leave it like that. Afterwards, it's time to create some splashes on this background layer. Right above our background layer, that's when you add this new layer. Just hit B on your keyboard to bring your brushes, and we won't be using our general brushes. Just go to a special effects brushes. You can try the Kyle brushes. They are in every Photoshop app. Make sure to adjust your foreground and background color. We need to work with the white one, so you can press X to toggle between the two, and then you can also hold Alt and right click while holding to adjust the diameter, and then I'll gently click to throw some splashes of ink. Okay, I'll undo the last 3, and then I'll try to make these splashes a bit. Okay, you can also adjust the size of the brush in order to get different spots or splashes like that, and then come back to your selection tool, and then let's rename this layer brush spatters. Okay, and then I want us to add 2 more details. I want us to add a parental advisory. I feel like it will give it a better look in the end. Just make sure to search it on Google, and then right under tools, just get a better size version, and also make sure it's PNG. So there's a wide range of options, but I already have the ones that I've been using in my projects, so I'll just find that folder. Here it is. I'll just drag it into Photoshop, place it right here, and then I'll make it small, very small, almost like that, and then I'll put it right there. Also, while clicked on this layer, while selected on it, hit Ctrl A and then align it vertically so that it stays perfectly in the middle. And then one last thing, we need to add some icon right here just to replicate what we saw. To add an icon right here, you might want to go to your custom shape tool in your Photoshop, but there's really not much that you can choose from. Alternatively, just go on your browser, icons8.com. There's a wide variety of icons that you can add. So I just looked up lightning and I liked this one, and I did download it. You'll get a good PNG file. There's also another option, icons8.com. There's very many items that you can find. Just search it up and most likely you're going to find what you're looking for. So right under my downloads, I'll drag the lightning, I'll put it right here. I'll also zoom in, and then I'll make it small like that. So if I go back, everything looks good. One more detail that you can use to add or enhance this look, you don't necessarily have to go with the orange vibe. So remember, you can adjust your colors once you're done. So instead of actually having to adjust the fill, you can just create a new adjustment, add a hue and saturation adjustments, and then make sure it only affects the layer beneath, and then play around with this value. You can see it still looks good, so just continue playing around. You can play the saturation, the lightness, and the hue, and you're most likely going to find better looks than the ones that you began with. I like these pinkish with orange looks. Anyway, it just depends on your preference. Yeah, if you made it this far, thank you for watching this video. I appreciate any feedback, whether it's a comment, suggestion, or anything that you'd like to add on to this video. Just put it down and I'm happy to interact with you guys. My name is Danny James. See you in the next one. Cheers.